Hi everyone, my name is Ali Fulford and I am the International Students Librarian, so I am your librarian and I'm very glad to be with you today. I hope you are all well and safe in your homes around the world. I'm speaking to you from my home in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and today we're going to talk about researching with the Dalhousie Libraries. So I'm just recording myself speaking over some PowerPoint slides, and I'll also show you some demonstrations in live resources. And even if I stumble over some words or you hear background noise in my home, I'll just keep on going unless I make too much of a mistake or there's too much noise in the house, but I hope we'll be okay for that. And I'll just pretend that we're having a conversation, and I can't see you and you can't see me, and I won't know if you have a question, but if you do, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'll be very glad to answer any of your questions if you need more information about anything that I speak about. So my email address is on the screen, and it is alison.fulford@dal.ca. So please don't hesitate if you need any more information or help with anything that we talk about. So specifically, we will talk about a few important facts about the DAL libraries, that there are different libraries for different subject areas, that your DAL card is also your library card, and that staff at the Dalhousie Libraries are here to help you succeed. I'll show you where to find subject, also known as library guides, as well as the International Students Library Guide. We will talk about where to find scholarly, also known as academic sources on the library's website, with a focus on e-resources or electronic resources. As all of our print library locations are closed and we are all working and studying from home, we need to rely right now on electronic resources. So we will focus on reference books, things like encyclopedias and dictionaries. We will look at how to find books, and we will look at how to find scholarly or academic journal articles. And then finally, I'll show you how to set up Google Scholar on your home computers and laptops to link to Dalhousie Library's full text when it is available. This is a really good tip. So that's the agenda for today, and that should take us about an hour to get through all of this material. So off we go. How many libraries do you think that Dalhousie University has? If you guess 5, that is the correct answer. So there is the Killam Memorial Library on the Studley campus. This is the largest library at Dalhousie University, and it serves the subject areas of economics, business, management, computer science, the sciences, the humanities, and the social sciences. The Sexton Design and Technology Library is on the downtown Sexton campus, and it serves the Faculty of Engineering as well as the schools of Architecture and Planning. And besides being the International Students Librarian, I'm also the librarian for Engineering, Architecture, and Planning. So if any of you are in those specific subject areas, if that's going to be your field of study, then I will also be your subject librarian. The Kellogg Health Sciences Library is on the Carleton campus, sort of halfway between the Studley campus and the Sexton campus, and the Kellogg Health Sciences Library serves the needs of medicine, dentistry, nursing, pharmacy, those kinds of subject areas. The Sir James Dunn Law Library is on the Studley campus, and it serves the Faculty of Law. And the McRae Library in Truro serves the Faculty of Agriculture. And Truro is a smaller town than Halifax or Dartmouth. It's located about an hour's drive away from Halifax, Dartmouth. So even though there are 5 libraries at Dalhousie University, you are not restricted to use the library that suits your area of study. You are free to enter any of these libraries. You don't have to show your ID. You can sit down and study. You can use the the physical collections, so the book collections or the journal collections. You can use the computer commons. You are free to use these libraries in any way you like. Your DAL card is also your library card, so you don't have a separate library card. Your DAL card and your library card are one and the same. Undergraduate students can borrow print books for 3 weeks. Graduate students can borrow print books for 3 months, and you can renew your print books at least 3 times. You can take out as many books as you like. There's no limit on the number of books that you can borrow. So you can borrow and take out of the library as many books as you can carry, and there's no fee, there's no charge for taking out books. E-books are very important these days, as I said, because the physical libraries are closed and all of the print materials within those libraries are not available. So e-books, electronic books, are what we have to use right now. And they have some advantages over print books in that, in many cases, many students can read the same e-book at the same time. So e-books allow what we call multiple simultaneous users, and that's a great advantage if a book is in high demand. Ebooks have various loan periods from a few days to a week or longer, so there are lots of advantages to electronic books. You can order print books from other universities for free. This service is suspended right now, but when you come to the university in person, if we do not have a print book that you need in one of the DAL libraries, then we can get it for you from another library in Nova Scotia, or, if need be, outside of Nova Scotia, across Canada, across the US, and even abroad. So you have a vast amount of information available to you. You're not just restricted to what we can provide to you within our physical libraries, but we can get material, print books, and even journal articles for you from other universities for free. I want you never to forget that all of the staff at the DAL libraries are here to help you, and we really are invested in seeing you succeed. So if you need help with anything at all, please don't hesitate to contact any of us. And as your librarian, I am working full-time, Monday to Friday, available to you for anything you need. And again, please refer to my email address on the initial slide. So we're going to move on to some content now, and we're going to talk about subject guides, also known as library guides. Subject guides are great for getting started with your research. The subject guides can connect you with your subject librarian. So if you are going to be a student of economics or of computer science, then you have a specific subject guide for that area of study, and you have a specific subject librarian as well. So all librarians are responsible for different subject areas offered at the university. Your subject guide will show you the very best resources for your particular field of study. So how do you find these subject guides? On the screen is an image of the Dalhousie Library's website or landing page. And the address for this page is libraries.dal.ca. It's also available as a link off of the main Dalhousie University webpage, which is dal.ca. And you can see at the screen, at the top of the screen, there was a link for the libraries off of the dal.ca page. So this is the library's home page, and the green arrow is pointing to the subject guides. So I'm just going to go to them live. So here we are on the subject guides page, and you can see at the top there are 214 guides in all. So this is just an alphabetical listing of all of the guides available. So you see the different subject areas. Let me see. Anesthesia, aquaculture, architecture, biology, chemical engineering, chemistry, computer science. I know there's a lot of computer science students out there. We have data and statistics. We have dentistry and dental hygiene, earth science, economics, electrical and computer engineering, engineering math, English. Sometimes library guides or subject guides are related to a certain topic. So in this case, as where my cursor is indicating, how to find patents, or how to find standards, or how to find technical reports, or how to find fiction even. So the guides continue. There's general engineering, there's graduate research in law, there's history, even history of Dalhousie University, history of science and technology, indigenous studies, industrial engineering. I'll just continue down the list a bit faster. Materials engineering, mathematics and statistics, mechanical engineering, medical physics, medicine, mining engineering, music, neurology, how to find newspapers, that would be a topic guide, nursing, nutrition, oceanography, pediatrics, physics, planning, political science, religious studies, Russian, social work, sociology and anthropology. Here are some specific course guides, so for specific courses. Here's a guide for a specific program, transition year. And here's a guide for a resource available to you, the Writing Center. So lots of different guides on relating to certainly all of the programs we have here at Dalhousie University, as well as some specific topics and courses. So you can search for guides in the complete alphabetical list by subject, by type of guide, so a course guide as we've seen, or a topic guide, or by a specific owner. And by owner we mean librarian or library staff member. So let's pick one of these guides. We'll pick Gwendolyn's guide, one of Gwendolyn's guides. Gwendolyn is a terrific librarian and colleague. She's very knowledgeable about many topics. So let's look at her biology guide. It's representative of how all of the guides are laid out, in that there is a table of contents on the left-hand side in gray, with topics in gray, and then whenever a page in the table of contents is highlighted, it displays in the center of the screen. So this page relates to databases for biology. So a database is a resource that you would search to find things like journal articles or conference proceedings. Gwendolyn also has a tab for journals relevant to biology, for books and ebooks relevant to biology, how to find theses or dissertations, encyclopedias, dictionaries, and guides, so reference sources related to biology, and even news kinds of topics. So this is the general way in which a guide is organized and displayed. Let's just pop back to the PowerPoint. Here we come again to a screen image of Gwendolyn's guide and the table of contents, and then the information displaying in the center pane, and that's actually a little picture of Gwendolyn. I want to show you the International Students Guide to the Dalhousie Libraries. So it's not really a subject guide in that it's explaining to you all of the resources important for a specific subject area. It's a guide to introduce you as international students to the various services and resources available at the Dalhousie Libraries. And it is one of the guides available in that long alphabetical list. So I'm just going to click on the link, and we'll leave the PowerPoint and go out to the International Students Guide to the Dal Libraries. So again, this guide has the table of contents on the left in gray. There's a lot of information here. This welcome page just gives you some very basic and introductory information about the current situation at the Dal Libraries, and gives you my picture, that's what I look like, as well as my regular contact information. The Libraries at Dalhousie is the next tab, and we've covered some of this information, so the various libraries available to you, as well as where they are located and their hours. This quick video tour of the library's website I think would be very helpful. So it gives you a tour of the landing page at libraries.dal.ca, and it speaks to the various component parts of the website. So if you have a moment, I would suggest that you take a look at this video. We're going to cover some of it today, but not all of it. The next tab is Getting Started, your library card, your account. We've talked about some of this information. This page also tells you about access to library electronic resources from off-campus, which is a very timely topic, and we will talk about that today. The next tab talks about your net ID, which is the same as your email username and password. You also have a separate library username and password, so don't get those two things confused. Your net ID and email username and password are not the same as your library username and password. The next tab tells you where you can study on campus when you do come here. I'm just going to take a drink. So there are various study spaces across the Dalhousie campus that you are absolutely free to use. You can even study at the International Center if you like. The following tab is all about books, journals, and databases. So it defines or it gives you a bit more information about what each format is, and then it tells you how to find that type of information in the library. We're going to cover some of this today. We are also going to cover reference materials, so things like dictionaries and encyclopedias. We will cover that this morning. Again, a tab to remind you that your librarians are here to help you, and this is a list of librarian by name and by subject area. The following tab is another list of the subject guides. So again, you can follow this link to find your particular subject librarian. Today we're going to talk about the library catalog, which is called Novanet. So this tab gives you lots of information about the Novanet catalog. The document delivery service is one I mentioned, and that's the service whereby we get material for you when it's not available at Dalhousie University or within Nova Scotia, and that pertains to books and articles, conference proceedings, that kind of thing. This is a free service, so you never have to pay for this service. We use a lot of jargon in libraries, or words that may not be part of the regular communication. So this is just a dictionary of some common library words and phrases in case you need it. There's a tab also for language resources, so online electronic information if you need help with English language resources. This tab is very important. It's live help, and it's also a page where you can link to online tutorials for lots of information, lots more information on various resources and services available. You just click on a link and it takes you to an online tutorial or video. Live help is really important for you to know about, and it is chat reference. So when the service is available, this green dot displays, and then you just type your reference question into this chat box. You send your question away, and somebody on the other side will write back with an answer. So this service is more meant for quick reference, not in-depth help with research and things like that. In those cases, you would email your subject librarian or me. But if you had a quick question that somebody could answer via chat, then you would use this live help service. And it's available off of the library's homepage. So when next we go to the homepage, I will show you where it is. Just going to take another drink. The next tab is for tips on the research process. So I describe and help you understand what Boolean searching is all about in this PowerPoint presentation right here, and then the rest of the page goes on to how you can approach starting your research. So just some tips on that process. The next two tabs relate to plagiarism or copying. And how do you avoid it? By using a citation style system. So you avoid plagiarism by citing or indicating what sources, what books and journals you used when you're writing your papers. So these two tabs, what is plagiarism and how to avoid it, are very important ones for you to take a look at. This tab gives some help with writing if you need it, and links to the Writing Center at Dalhousie University. Studying for Success, that center has lots of tips to give you on how to study effectively. And then the final two tabs are just where I put PowerPoint and classroom handouts for you as EAP students and students in the ENSL program. So this is the International Student's Guide to the Dalhousie Libraries. And if you have time, I would recommend that you just go through all of the tabs. We're covering some of the information today, but not all of it. And I think it gives you a really good introduction to the Dalhousie Libraries, starting from the very basic to more sophisticated topics. So it's definitely a resource I would recommend that you spend some time looking at. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint and back to our subject for today. So next we're going to look at scholarly sources and how to find them. And scholarly means academic or appropriate for use within a university. And there are different types of scholarly resources. There are reference sources like encyclopedias and dictionaries. There are books, and there are journal articles. So first of all, we're going to look at reference sources. So reference sources like encyclopedias and dictionaries are written by experts, by scholars, by professors and academics, and they're written for people like you, for students, for other scholars and academics, and for researchers. Reference sources are very well researched, and they will often contain bibliographical references. So the authors will include at the end of their articles references to the books and journal articles they used when they wrote their content, so that you can see what books and journal articles they read. So a particular citation, a particular bibliographical citation includes things like the author's name or the author's names, the title of the work, the publisher, the place of publication, and the date of publication. So different formats of information, like a book or a journal article, will contain different bits of information that make up the citation. Reference sources, they do include books, sometimes with many volumes. So that would be like an encyclopedia that has many volumes, and they contain a vast amounts of information. As I mentioned, encyclopedias and dictionaries are formats of reference sources. They can be in print, or they can be online and electronic. They often contain short articles, so they're not as lengthy as a book would be. They can be from a few sentences to a paragraph to many paragraphs long. So and I'm referring to, for example, an entry in an encyclopedia. Encyclopedias and dictionaries are great for finding background information. Does anybody recognize this page on the screen or where it comes from? I think there's a hint in the upper left corner. It's a page from Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is not appropriate as a scholarly or academic source. It's a good place to start, but it's not appropriate to list Wikipedia in your bibliographies or to rely on Wikipedia for information when you're doing your research, when you are a university student. Anyone can create a Wikipedia account, log in, and edit any Wikipedia page. So you never know who has provided the information for you, what their credentials are. Are they an expert or not? Do they have a particular bias in any way? So the information in Wikipedia, for a number of reasons, is not to be relied upon for your work at the university. I use it when I'm unfamiliar with a topic, so it gives me the background of a topic. So it's a very good place to start for those reasons. Google is another good place to start, and we're all so familiar with doing a Google search, but Google has some drawbacks. It contains a lot of information that your professors may not want you to use in your research assignments. So information from blogs or from news articles or information that may even be propaganda. And in some cases, Google will ask you to pay for access to a scholarly paper or journal article, and you should never do this. We provide you enough free academic and scholarly sources through the library's website that you can use. You should never ever pay for a scholarly source available to you on Google. If you want scholarly background information, as I've said, I'm repeating myself, try a reference source. Credo Reference is a great source for you to use. It's a collection of reference ebooks in full text written by experts covering many, many, many different topics. Credo calls itself the academic alternative to Wikipedia, and you can search for Credo in a number of different places on the library's website. The first place you can search is off of the libraries.dal.ca webpage, the landing page. So I'm going to go and do a demo of how to access Credo and how to do a search. So I'm just going back to the International Students Guide for a second. So if you remember, there was a tab for general reference sources, dictionaries, encyclopedias, and included in the list is Credo. So if you click on this link, you would be taken to Credo Reference. But if you go to the library's homepage, which is here, you see this single search box right up at the top of the screen, and you see a number of tabs here. Well, if you click on databases, you are searching the library's website for databases. So if we put Credo in as our search and send the search away, there is Credo. So a couple of different ways to access Credo Reference. Now, we are all off campus, so before we can access a Dalhousie Libraries resource, you have to verify that you are a Dalhousie University student or faculty member or staff member. So all you do in this off-campus login box that appears is you type in your net ID. So this is your email ID. In my case, it's A. Fulford, and then you type in your Dal password, so your net ID and password. I've got a frog in my throat. I'm going to take another drink. If you don't know your net ID, or if you forgot your password or need to update your password, these links here, net ID lookup and passwords.dal.ca, can help you do that. So once you've got that information in the boxes, you click Submit, you get by what's called the proxy server, and now we can access the resource. And sometimes you only have to do this once in a session. So a bit later, we'll be accessing some other Dalhousie resources, and we may not have to put in our net ID and password again. So this is the landing page for Credo Reference. So there's a single search box up at the top, and then different categories or subject areas within Credo. So health and medicine, history, psychology. There's some research quick tips, so some help if you need it. And that's the basic layout of the page. I'm going to tell you something that will be something that's consistent in what I show you this morning. And whenever you have the option, don't simply use this basic search box. Look for advanced search if it's available, because an advanced search can help you construct your search, and it can also help bring you back more precise and accurate results. So after looking around a bit, I went to this hamburger menu in the top left corner, these 3 lines, and if you just click on topics, the page that displays has the advanced search feature. So I'm not sure why this database didn't put advanced search on the home page, but it is available. And as I said, I recommend advanced search when doing a search. So I'm just going to search for information. And my topic is oil Arctic exploration or discovery. So Credo provides these different boxes to help us construct our search. So you see a box with all of the words. So all of the words in that you put in this box must be returned in your search results. If you have a phrase that you're searching, you can put the exact phrase in this box. And if you have options, so you don't require specific words, but any of the search words will do, you can put them in this 3rd box. And if you want to exclude certain words from your search, you can put them there. So my search, I must have in my search results the concepts of oil and Arctic. I don't have an exact phrase, but either of these words will do for me. Exploration and discovery. So that's my search. I don't have any words that I'm going to exclude, but, for example, if I did want to, I could exclude Antarctic. I'm not interested in the Antarctic, I'm interested in the Arctic. But this will be my search for now. So oil, Arctic, all of those words, both of those words, and then any of these words, exploration or discovery. And then I send my search away. And Credo comes back with 257 results. And it just lists them. So one result is this one, the Arctic, from the Columbia Encyclopedia. The following article, now I can't pronounce that word, I won't try, but it is from another reference source, Encyclopedia of the Seas, the Western Arctic Seas Encyclopedia. The 3rd entry, the Arctic, is from Geography of the World. Let me see, what else can I tell you? So 257 results, all types of results. So there are reference entries, so longer sort of entries, definitions. So that information would often come from a dictionary. And it also provides pro-con information. So pro is in favor of a certain topic and con is against it. So it gives the 2 different sides of different topics. All collections, so there's information from what's called the academic core collection, as well as some add-on content. Most of it's within the academic core content. Subject areas, so you can see where the subject area, the big area in which your topic resides. So 106 science results for my topic, 74 history results. Arts and leisure has 7, so interesting there. And media, so it contains images and contains maps, so you can see the different numbers there. There are some more filters offered, so you can see the results by date. So 109 entries for my subject search are from 2016 to 2020. Some are more current than that. 18 are from 2019. And then the final limit is how lengthy these articles are. So 219 of my results are long, 7 are short. So let's see which one I want to look at. And I did have a quick look before. Let me see. There's some interesting ones here. Let's look at this one, Polar Regions, Impacts of Energy Development. So this article, or this section, I don't know how long it is. Oh, it's 9,659 words, is from the Encyclopedia of Energy. Key concepts are petroleum, natural gas, oil reserves, the tundra. So if I click on the title, I get to that specific content within this Encyclopedia of Energy. So it starts with a glossary or some definitions of words, and then it gets into the content of the encyclopedia. So that's how you do a search, and that's how you access the results. Now up here are some options for you. You can save within Credo. You can cite this information, and if you're going to use this in any type of essay or paper, then you have to tell your readers where the information came from. And so that's what you do when you're citing your information. You can use different citation style systems. Often we recommend the APA style, the style of the American Psychological Association. That's why it's called APA. The Chicago, Harvard, and MLA are other styles. You could export this citation to a citation generator like Zotero or EasyBib. RefWorks is no longer available at Dalhousie University. The subscription expired at the end of April. You can print the information. You can share it. Let's see, via email. You can export it to different tools. I'll go back to where I was. Credo also offers the service of reading aloud, so it would read this section for you or this passage for you, and it can also translate the information into over 60 languages. So if those are of help to you, those services are available. So this is Credo reference, and again, always use advanced search when it's available to you. Put your search terms into the appropriate boxes and send your search away. And then look through the resulting list of results and find one that matches what you need. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint. The second type of scholarly source that you can use are books. They are great for your research. They provide general information on your topic. They are well researched and written or edited by professionals, and they should, if they are scholarly or academic, contain bibliographical references. And books, of course, are much longer than a reference entry or a journal article, and they take a lot longer to write and to publish as well. How do you find books? You do a search in the library's catalog. And a library catalog is just a database listing and describing the various books and journals, DVDs, government documents, conference proceedings, and other material held by a library. And Dalhousie Library's catalog is called NovaNet, and it derives its name from Nova Scotia, so that's the Nova, and net, a network, so NovaNet. This catalog that we use is huge, and it also includes not just the information that we have at Dalhousie University available to you, but library materials held at all universities and community colleges within Nova Scotia, plus Mount Allison University in New Brunswick. So NovaNet is a very large library catalog, and it means that you have a vast amount of information available to you. You are not just restricted to what we have at Dalhousie University, but the resources of the universities and colleges in Nova Scotia, as well as Mount Allison University in New Brunswick, are available to you. If you are going to use the Killam library, the Killam is a very large library, and books have addresses on them, also known as call numbers. So I just want you to keep in mind that when you're looking for a book in the Killam library, when you can go there in person, usually there are maps or directions by the elevators that tell you where the different books and their call numbers are located. So it's not as much of an issue in the smaller libraries like the Sexton Library, where there's only one section for books, but books in the Killam Library are dispersed on the different floors of that library. So just something to keep in mind when you come here in person. So how do you find books? Well, we search for them off of the library's homepage. So we're going to do a demonstration, and I'll show you how to find books. So we're leaving the PowerPoint, and we'll go back to the library's homepage. Now, before we go on, I just want to go right down to the bottom of the page because I was going to show you where Live Help is, and it's right here in the bottom right corner of the library's website. So you see the green dot is there, so that means the Live Help service is on. Somebody's there to help you. So all you would do is just type your search away. Hi, I need some help. And as soon as I click enter, somebody should write back. There we go. So what you would do then is just carry on with your question, and the person would help you. I'll just tell her I'm just helping you guys with the class, so we'll go on. So, how do we find books? We come up to this single search box, and I'll just add that it probably looks like a Google single search box, right? That was just Live Help getting back to us. Enjoy your class, we are here to help. Okay, so this single search box is our attempt to draw you away from Google and to use our scholarly and academic resources. So we're offering you a single search box through which you can search for books and articles and other types of information. So when you're searching for books, you can highlight this Books tab. Books displays right here, and then you can search by subject for your book. So I'm going to search for Arctic oil exploration. That's my topic. If I just highlighted Novanet Basic Search, then any results I get would be any type and format of information, not just books. But because I've selected books, then any results that are returned to me will have to be books. So I click enter or the search button, and we're leaving the website environment, and we are now within the Novanet catalog. So the interface looks different. So Novanet has given us 91 results, but they are all books. So you see we have an active filter or an active limit right now, and that is books. What's on the left-hand side of the screen in gray are the limits available. So how do we get this list of 91 books to a smaller list that may be a more relevant list at this time? So one thing that we can do is limit ourselves straight away to Dalhousie electronic resources. So this will get rid of all of the print results. And of course, as I mentioned, we have to focus on electronic results right now. So our active filters or limits are books and electronic resources. So in essence, we are left with electronic books. So now we have 20 results. And that's a very manageable list. And the books are just listed. And sometimes when you get to the bottom of the page, you'll see the direction load more results. So it will just keep loading results until we get to our 20. And there they are. So then what you do is you just look for a book that suits your topic. And I think this number 4 is a book that's relevant to me. You can see that it is also available in print in the Killam Library, and that's the call number or the address. It also is available online. So let's click on the book's title, and this will open up the full record for that book. So here's the full record for that book, and we see the author, Anthony Mansell Spencer. The Geological Society of London is the publisher, and this book was published in 2011. Here's a description of the book, or a précis of what the book is about. It's actually quite long. And then down below is where we access the full text. So we can click on one. It's in this links section. So you can click on any of these links. So let's just click on the first one. Here we go. Here is the book, Arctic Petroleum Geology. It's included in an ebook collection called Novel, and I happen to know that this is a collection of engineering ebooks. So you get the table of contents here, and then all of the chapters of the book. So it's the book in its entirety. Quite a long book. You can save, you can create a bookshelf, your own private bookshelf within Novel. You would have to log in to do that. You certainly don't have to do this. You can cite the book and export it if you need to. You can save this book to a mobile device. You can share it in certain ways. Again, I guess that takes a login. All of these databases ask for a login. You certainly don't have to log in and create your own personal space within these collections. So that's how you access an ebook. There is no call number. You just click on the link provided. Other helpful information relating to this book is in this section right here. So you see, you can also cite the book from within Novanet, and they give you different options for that, different styles by which to cite the book. A permalink is a permanent link to this record. So if you wanted to share this book with a colleague or another student, you could send them this link, and they would be able to access this record, and then they would have to click on the link to access the full text of the book. You can email this record to anyone you like. We won't use RefWorks. That's no longer a supported database at Dalhousie University. And again, it was just software that automates the process of creating citations. You can export this citation, and you can print it. So that's a very quick tour of how to search for a book within the Novanet catalog. So again, we started here on the library's homepage. We highlighted books, and then we put in our search term and sent the search away. We left the website environment, and now we're in the Novanet environment. We set a limit for Dalhousie Electronic Resources, and then we went through the list. So moving on to scholarly, also known as academic articles. Articles are much shorter and more specific than books. It doesn't take as long to publish an article, so they are often, the content is usually very current. It takes about 4 or 5 years to publish a book, so the information in books can be a bit older, but articles tend to give you much more current and concise information. There are news articles. These are short, they're written by journalists, and they're sometimes okay for your papers. You should definitely check with your professors about this. Wikipedia articles, as we've talked about are helpful for learning and for background information, but they're not okay for your academic papers. Scholarly articles are great. They are longer than Wikipedia or news articles. They're written by professors, by academics, by scholars. They are great for your papers. They will be peer reviewed in many cases and will always or should always have bibliographical references. So what is the peer review process? And scholarly or academic articles go through this process before they are published in journals and before you can read them. So a researcher, like a professor, has an idea, a theory, or an hypothesis. They research and they write an article, and they come up with a manuscript. They send this manuscript away to a journal editor, and then the article, the manuscript, is reviewed by 3 to 5 experts in that particular field of study. And what these reviewers are looking for is not for grammatical and spelling errors. They are examining the content. And they can recommend that the manuscript be accepted as is, revised, and they will give some recommendations for revisions, or the manuscript is rejected. So a peer-reviewed article that you see in a journal is one that has gone through this process and has been accepted for publication or accepted after some revisions. So that's the peer review process. Peer-reviewed journal articles are the gold standard of articles. They are the absolute best. How do you find articles? Well, you find articles by, again, searching the Novanet catalog. You can search an article database, so databases in specific subject areas that contain journal articles and that you search for. Databases can be, as I said, related to a particular subject, or they can be of a general kind of database that cover many different subjects. You can also search for journal articles on Google Scholar. So I'm going to show you how to search for articles within the Novanet catalog. And again, we're going to leave the PowerPoint and we're going to go to Novanet. I'm going to back out. And here we are at the library's homepage. There's the address in case you need a reminder of what it is, libraries.dal.ca. Again, we go to our single search box, but instead of highlighting books, and I'm not going to highlight Novanet Basic Search, I only want articles. I know I only want articles, so I'm highlighting the Articles tab. And then what you do, just as we did for books, you put your search words in. This time I'm going to look for Arctic oil spills. Change up my search a bit. So those are my keywords that I'm searching. I'm searching for articles, and then I send my search away. And again, the catalog brings back results. This time, many more results. So 3,454 results. Now that is quite a few. So we definitely need to set some limits. And the first one will be full text online, because I only want electronic material and I only want peer-reviewed journal articles. So here's that limit right there. So that gets my list down to just over 2,600. And now let's set a date restriction, because I only want newer items. So right now, the articles available are from 1953 to 2020. Let's just change that to 2000. So 2000 to 2020. Well, that's still a lot, just over 2,200. You can keep going with limits if you want. You know, languages available there too. Different languages available. My language is English, so I'll just click English. That doesn't get me very far. In any way, you get the idea. You do your search, You see the number of results, and if need be, you limit your results by using the filters or the limiters available on the left-hand side of the screen. And that's a process that's familiar or the same whether you're doing it in the library catalog or a dedicated journal article database. Let's look at one that might be interesting. An ecological risk assessment model for Arctic oil spills from a subsea pipeline. So that looks interesting. This is a little précis of the citation and the article. We can see this icon that it is peer-reviewed, which is not a surprise because that was one of our limits. Let's click on the title. So I'll just go through the bits and pieces of this citation for you. So what you see in blue, sorry, that doesn't work too well when I highlight it, an ecological risk assessment model, that is the article title. A lot of students think that's the name of the journal from which the article comes, but this is the article title. The authors follow, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 authors. This journal article is found in the Marine Pollution Bulletin for October 2018, volume 135, pages 1117 to 1127. Again, we see the options here for citation, the permalink, email, print. One other nice thing about a journal article record here is that the catalog supplies you with some related readings. So if you want to read other material related to this article, they are listed here. Some may be very relevant and some may seem to be off the mark. So to access the full text, we click on the full text available link, and then we see the ways by which the full text is available to us. And in this case, it's available via Elsevier Science Direct Journals and the Elsevier Science Direct Freedom Collection. So there are two ways, 2, in which we can access the full text. So you would just click on the Go button, and then if the PDF doesn't open directly, then there's usually a link to the PDF. So this is our title, an ecological risk assessment model for Arctic oil spills from a subsea pipeline. There's the abstract or summary of what the article is about, and we can open the PDF to view the article in its entirety. There's of course there's options for PDFs. You can save it to your computer, you can print it out if you like. So again, we started at the library's homepage. We selected articles. We put in our search terms. We sent the search away. And then we used the left-hand side of the screen to set some limits and finally picked an article to read. So that is how you search for a journal article using the Novanet catalog. So there is one other thing I wanted to show you today, and it's a really great tip for using Google Scholar. It's really frustrating when you do a search, for example, in Google Scholar, and you find an excellent article, but you are asked to pay for it because the full text isn't available. Well, we can make Google Scholar a bit more helpful to you. So I'm just going to go out to Google Scholar. There we go. And I'm going to go to the main page. Now up in the left corner, top corner, again you see those 3 lines, that little hamburger menu. Click on the menu and then go to Settings. And then click on Library Links. And if you don't see Dalhousie University in this list ticked off, then search for it in the search box. And just send the search away. So here we go. We get Dalhousie University full text at Dal Libraries. So just tick that box and then save. And then anytime you do a search, Arctic oil drilling sounds good. If the full text is available from the Dalhousie Libraries, see over here on the right hand side, then you will just as soon as you click on the title, you will have the full text available to you because of a Dalhousie Library subscription. So this is a really good tip. You won't be frustrated and met with a paywall, but as is available, you will resolve right through to Dalhousie Library's full text. So we've come to the end of the topics for today, but I wanted to do a quick review before I sign off. So we started by talking about the 5 different libraries at Dalhousie University, and that the libraries serve different subject areas, different programs and faculties, but you are free to use any of the libraries. You don't just have to use the library that corresponds to your field of study. We talked about your Dal card is also your library card, so you don't have a separate library card. And I emphasized for you that staff at the Dalhousie Libraries are here to help you succeed. We talked about the subject, also known as library guides, and spent some time going through the International Students Library Guide. I think if you do have a few minutes, it would be good to go through the International Guide again and to spend some time on each tab. And also, you could look up the subject guide for what will be your academic field of study when you come to the university. We talked about scholarly, also known as academic sources, and how to access them via the library's website. So we looked at reference sources, and specifically at Credo reference. We talked about what books are and how to look for books in the Novanet catalog. And we also talked about journal articles and how to find them as well in the Novanet catalog. And finally, I showed you how to set up Google Scholar on your home computers to link to Dalhousie Library's full text when it is available. When you do come to Dalhousie, you will see that each library has a service point, and the picture on the screen is of the Killam Library service point. So this is where you would go to sign out your books, to return your books, to ask any questions that you may have about using the libraries. Please also remember about the Live Help service, and this is the chat reference that I showed you on the library's homepage. And remember, when the green dot is showing, that means that the Live Help service is available. And then you just type your question into the chat box. So thank you so much for your attention today. If you have any questions at all, please email me. I am still here for you, and I'd be very glad to hear from you. So until we can meet in person, be well, take care, and all my best wishes. Bye-bye for now.